right. I didn't think I was going to record this one, but we're going to do a basic retrieve the data. Now, retrieve the data is really simple in the sense that there's one tile that they're all going to come to, and I wanted to record this as essentially the most basic tunnel, because this is about as flat as trap tunnels usually have to work with. We've got a little bit of a down area here, and we have the other, just the edge of the map right behind us, so we only actually have to defend half of it. This should be pretty straightforward. The modifiers are super forgiving. Wall weakening won't matter, they won't get that far. Slowing attacks won't matter, we're going to be standing back. Slowing pools aren't going to matter because we're going to be standing back. Lightning storm means we have to build the defense out of brick, but that's not too big of a deal in my opinion. So I say we get right into it. Regular disclaimers. There are lots of different ways to trap missions. I'm only going to be showing what works for me here. I am not an endurance player, and I'm not building this to AFK. I try to make this somewhat affordable, but you only really need to do 10 160s a week. So let's cut this in half right here. Oops, just to funnel a little bit. Oh my goodness. Just to get this going. I've also got a video on all the best trap perks, link down below. I got a video on all the best traps as well. I got a video on basic trap tunnels, and this is going to be a callback to the tunnels video because this is going to be a really straightforward tunnel. So I'm cutting this in half because I expect this ramp, if the spawns flip at some point, could easily be utilized. This I'm going to build on the fly if need be. We haven't had any like unforgiving trap swaps, or I'm sorry, spawn swaps in any of these videos yet. So I'm going to get basic wall darts. This is kind of for extra points if anybody ever wants to trap and just do as much as they can. These are not super necessary. It's just extra damage as everything walks towards the simple funnel we got going on here. And I'm going to make this as much of a tunnel as I can. I'm going to troll my team. Oh, nice. Okay, so let's block this off. We want them all to come towards this one section. We want them to only funnel towards here. I usually expect problems when this happens, but so far, this is the third trap tutorial I've recorded. It's gone fairly smoothly. So retrieve the data can be really difficult because of where it spawns. I can think of one specific spawn for an example where it's like a 2 or 3 tile cliff, and you basically have to defend up front. It's quite difficult to deal with. So if I ever find one of those locations, I would love to make a video on that. But for now, this is going to be the most straightforward. So we do have a little pond to deal with. That's actually kind of difficult, but for the most part, it should be pretty straightforward like this. All right, let's lay it out with floor freeze, shall we? You know what? I'm going to do kind of a diamond shape because this could actually account for if they spawn down here at one point. Wall launchers pushing back in. I'm going to put another wall launcher pushing back out. I could have put that here as well. I usually don't mess with that, but we're going to put wall darts just to chip some extra damage while we're at it. And then, of course, we're going to be doing wall darts just like that. Now, this is not a healing death burst mission or anything, so we're going to use the, I believe, energy while seeing electric fields. That'll be plenty of extra damage. I want this to be kind of open so that we can interfere if need be, but this is going to be a really straightforward defense. Going to put these over top all of the floor freeze, and since this is pushing out, I actually do want these seeing electric fields to, you know, clip any enemies that make it out that far. This is a little expensive, potentially overkill for what we're doing, but honestly, that should work almost entirely for this side. And then, of course, we do have a team of people who are actually playing. If you guys ever need any friends, join our Discord link down below. You should never be playing 164 players solo. It's actually in the name suggesting that you have a team. If randoms are not behaving and not playing as a team, that's what these videos are for. I'm doing the best I can to inform the general public on how to trap stuff, and hopefully I can help, but that's, you know, that's all I can do. So we're going to essentially do this. I want this to be kind of cut off so that they have to walk around this one, but that's going to be a little tough to deal with. They might clip this corner. In this case, it's going to be pretty straightforward. Propanes could be a problem, but we're just going to do a very basic 4 seeing electric fields. And then floor freeze out here is really, really nice. Generally, you want to place these opposite. So I think what just happened is they're going to stumble probably out that way. I don't even remember. I think you're supposed to face the objective, and it won't matter out here. I'm confident enough that this spawn is wide open enough to where it's just not going to even be a problem. So for this instance, we are actually going to ignore it. In this case, there, we can place these a little smart so they stumble backwards into that wall. And then Again, I'm going to be lazy with the ceiling electric fields. I don't often like to play this way because it's fairly expensive, but I really just don't think we're going to need much more than this. And then
How dare you?
I think we can go from there. Let's do tar pits in case any smashers want to get overzealous. I probably should have taken care of that over here, but you know, you live and you learn. Let me just put one over here as well, because retrieve the data doesn't have a massive defense, just these walls. We can put ramps out, it's not a big deal, but it's not got a lot of defenses, so I think this is going to be fine. We can do wall darts if you want, it doesn't really matter. I think we're going to be able to intercept any problems. This defense right here, I'm going to do same thing, floor freeze, ceiling electric field. When I made my video on trap tunnels and I suggested floor freeze and ceiling electric fields, I wasn't kidding that it's a fairly tried and true method. This is a little expensive today, but I wanted to, oops, do it a little right. I'm just going to leave that one, honestly. I'm so confident that this build is going to be fine that I'm just going to start it here and shoot the balloon down. How dare you? Yeah, chat voted that we keep the stream overlay on for these, so here we go. Out here, they're just getting annihilated. Lots of basic zombies. I am 100% certain that only regular zombies are going to be completely eliminated out there. Only mist monsters are really going to be a problem. Same thing over here. Everything's just getting zapped into oblivion. Wall darts can go along any of these walls. Right there would be great. Right there would be great. Right there would be great. But it's just not necessary. I could put a couple anti-air traps, but while the traps are doing most of the work, we can just chip away at the lobbers. Bazooka Joey somehow died. Man needed his bazooka, but yeah, this defense is really great. The floor freeze is really... Ooh, see? Look at that. I figured this might be a problem. Seeing as there's only 2 for now, I'm just going to kill them. Oh, I see. Okay, so sometimes instead of wasting traps, if there's a leak out here, just extend it. You really just want to de-incentivize. Husks are essentially lazy. If you ever want to think of their directionality or their AI pathing, they're lazy. They will take the path of least resistance every time. And if you just put a couple walls out there, that can be a lot cheaper than a wall launcher. You see, none of them are coming anymore. They're all stopping, and this should be pretty straightforward. I'm a little disappointed we're not seeing any mist monsters, because this is easy right here. This is nothing. I'm just chilling right now. Look at that. Everything's dying down here. I mentioned the directionality of these traps wouldn't matter, because they don't. If I ever wanted any extra damage, wall darts are helpful, but totally unnecessary. It looks like it's handling just fine. I ran a bow loadout just because I figured cleaning up lobbers would be a thing I'd have to do. They are spawning a lot right now, because we're in the Valentine season. Did I hear... No, I don't think so. I'm just hearing lobbers throwing. And we can just chip them off, chip them away as we go. I'm going to ask team here, you guys, to take care of lobbers if you see them. But other than that, we should be fine. Okay, spawns are flipping to the west side. This is where I might need more damage, but they're already walking towards an area that's trapped, so we can mostly leave them alone. I was about to shoot them. I knew it. I knew, like, Vacuum Tube plus Farah just cannot... It's... When you're running that, it's so difficult to not just delete an entire crowd, but I wanted to demonstrate how the traps are doing completely fine. If I want to funnel them a little more aggressively, I can make sure that they're walking at least over the edge of this corner. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. This wall launcher hasn't even fired yet, so we've already got redundancies in place to handle that, and I'm really just not concerned. You know, if I'm trying to make this as educational as possible, redundancies are essentially just unnecessary traps that are there in case. It's like a redundant power supply. Like, you're not using it actively, but if the power ever goes out, you're going to be glad that you have the backup. And that's essentially what's happening here. It does get a little difficult to see into the storm, and the vacuum tube bow is really She teleported. Am I crazy? Like, am I nuts? Okay. Well, that's why the wall darts exist. Wall darts are really good at just deleting nurses, and as you'll see, they'll probably get one tap, but once everything gets into one spot, vacuum tube bow plus Farah is more than enough. I know I'm using bows in like all of these tutorials, but there are lots of different ways to play the game. I've got tons of tutorials. We don't have any mist monsters spawning yet. Oh, there's the propanes. Let's go. I want some traps to get deleted. We've barely lost any traps in any of my trapping tutorials, and I won't stand for it. It's too easy. Alright, swapping directions. It looks like the directions just swapped to the same. This is like the same place we were already defending. I'm disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. These enemies were getting pretty close. That's what I mentioned, where wall darts would have been a good backup, but Nah, heavy ammo's cheaper than wall darts here, and I don't see the necessity. Got some healing hose coming in. Alright, there we go. Finally a smasher. What? Well, how's that fair? Alright, well, yeah. Minigun takes care of the smasher, no problem. That's what your team can do. All the trap tunnels have to do is kill, like, 70% of what spawns, and, the team should be on standby just to delete anything that gets a little too far. Smashers don't always have to be taken care of by traps. This is not an AFK endurance, you guys. This is a practical mission guide. I want this to be relatively as cheap as possible without super stally techniques. So, yeah, it should, you know, even though jailing is mostly completely dead, there are still ways to just slow enemies down tremendously without ever, you know, having to defend as much as possible. I don't care for that playstyle. I like to actually kill the stuff, but yeah, this is going really smoothly once again, as I figured it would. In fact, I opened this video as a basic tutorial because this defense looks super easy. I mean, this is like the lowest hanging fruit. The traps, you know, flipped again, or the spawns flipped again, but I mean, with half of the defense just being empty map, we're only really defending half of the possible directions. What do we got here? Corrosive, ricochet, oh dear. Harbor with his minigun is going to have a field day with that. I'll throw a couple of drones just to feel like I'm helping. Yeah, I can do a little bit of damage. There we go, I helped. But realistically, we're going to be completely fine. I think the pot shot is really what finished it off there. I looked like I was helping, but I doubt I was. Oh, there are some flingers. Alright, that's when we have to actually contribute a little bit. I love it, because with a vacuum tube bow, you can take care of a flinger, and it'll chain. Oh, I hit my keyboard! It'll chain off of the off of the enemy he's about to throw and himself. It's a pretty good deal. Yeah, no, the vacuum tube bow is so strong. Also, these defenses are not cheap, so I always like to run around out here. I think the best part of any mission is just cleaning up at the end. We're not quite finished here yet, but I am fairly confident we're going to be okay. I did not see the lava right before I attacked. There we go. Killed it before it landed on our base. Taking them out, no problem. And looks like this mission's gonna be a wrap. We only got about 4 minutes on the defense, but I'm feeling pretty confident. Nothing spawned down here like I expected in the beginning. Everything has stayed out here, which, again, provided we're only defending at half of the possibilities. I guess I'm not surprised. There's a taker getting kind of far, but it's completely frozen in place, getting pushed around by wall launchers, and yeah, wall darts are going to chip it away. Gonna be a problem? Nope. Yeah, I'll take out the zappy face. Zappy faces don't really do a lot towards builds, unless they're up right next to them, but yeah. It's kind of ironic in a trapping guide. I repeat it pretty constantly, but never being afraid to kill an enemy is a thing. Like, you'd think in a trapping tutorial, I'd be opposed to that, but no, in a regular mission, you should be killing stuff. Like, we have all these weapons. I did not make over, like, 200 or 300 weapon guides on my channel just to tell you that weapons are pointless. Like, no. We got good weapons. We got miniguns. They are here for a reason. And, use them. I'm not going to replace any traps, by the way, because nothing's getting them close. I probably over-defended this, and in future videos, I might even use less ceiling electric fields. Look at this one. Fired 5 times. If you guys saw in the beginning of this video, like, oh wow, that looks really expensive. Well, you can see from the durability on some of these traps, I probably only needed half of the ceiling electric fields I placed, and that's really good news, frankly. Just looking at these. These ones fired about 40 times, 30 times, 10. This one, again, fired 5 times. It has essentially made 0 impact on the mission. So I could have taken out a whole layer, and because it's not death burst and we haven't dealt with many mist monsters, something you guys could do is build the bare minimum. Maybe only do 3 or 4 layers of ceiling electric fields, and then in your own missions, if enemies are starting to get further, place them as you need them, just because different missions spawn different waves. You might get more fatties than us, you might have more smasher waves, you might have more propanes, the modifier might be healing death burst or exploding death burst, and all of these different factors mean you're going to need more traps to get the job done, and in our case, that was pretty straightforward. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below what you guys want to see next. Thanks so much. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys next time.